8 minutes we got left before we chat. Grab your coffee, find your seat. Cowbells are ringing, that's our cue. We're gonna share our thoughts with you. Laugh and gossip, spit in tea. Little secrets between you and me. Countdown ticking, let's get real.
My meditation
started.
started.
How we feel. Gurl TauX in 8 minutes time. Ring that bell, let's feel the rhyme. Share our dreams and tell our fears. Gurl TauX, wiping all those tears. Snap a pic of what we wear. Brush our hair, let down our care. Conversations never lie in this moment with you and I. Clock is ticking, here we go. Words like rivers start to flow. Tune your ears and hear the beat. Gurl TauX makes our time so sweet. Gurl TauX in 8 minutes time. Ring that bell, let's feel the rhyme. Share our dreams and tell our fears. Gurl TauX, wiping all our tears. Clock is ticking, here we go. Words like rivers start to flow. Tune your ears and hear the beat. Gurl TauX makes our time so sweet. Gurl TauX in 8 minutes time. Ring that bell, let's feel the rhyme. Share our dreams and tell our fears. Gurl TauX, wiping all our tears.
Morning, y'all. It's 5 minutes and 30 seconds before Gurl TauX starts, so you have just enough time to grab yourself a cup of coffee and get in a comfy seat. We'll see you soon.
Catch Gurl TauX every day. Follow socials, here's the way.
GurlTauX, every platform come to play. Catch our vibe, don't delay.
Facebook, YouTube streams. Scrolling through your daily memes. Gurl TauX Show, don't miss out. Join the fun, see what Gurl TauX is all about. Keeping it real, it's what we do. So tune in now and join our crew. Lights moving through the screen. Click subscribe, don't be mean. Upbeat chatter, it's our routine. Gurl TauX Show, don't miss out. Join the fun, see what Gurl TauX is all about. GurlTauX is who we are. Come hang with us on your tablet, phone, or screen. Anywhere Gurl TauX can be seen. Gurl TauX Show, don't miss out. Join the fun, see what Gurl TauX is all about. Update stories, laugh and cry. It's Gurl TauX, so don't question why. It's the show that you'll adore. Come back daily to get some more. Gurl TauX Show, don't miss out. Join the fun, see what Gurl TauX is all about. GurlTauX is who we are. Come hang with us on your tablet, phone, or screen. Anywhere Gurl TauX can be seen. Gurl TauX Show, don't miss out. Join the fun, see what Gurl TauX is all about. GurlTauX, log in now, watch our show. Likes and comments, let them flow. Every day we're on our way. Gurl TauX what Gurl TauX is all about.
Walking down this road tonight, talking about the things we fight. Addiction knocking at my door. E&T wants so much more. We walk the walk and talk the talk, right here on Gurl TauX, on the path where we belong. Standing strong through the storm, together we'll move along. Searching for a brighter day, holding tight along the way. Sobriety's a steep climb, D&T winning every time. Oh yeah, we walk the walk and talk the talk, right here on Gurl TauX, on the path where we belong. Standing strong through the storm, D&T bringing all of you along. Oh yeah, we walk the walk and talk the talk, right here on Gurl TauX, on the path where we belong. Standing strong through the storm, D&T bringing all of you along. Oh yeah, we walk the walk and talk the talk, right here on Gurl TauX, on the path where we belong. Standing strong through the storm, D&T bringing all of you along. Oh yeah, we walk the walk and talk the talk, right here on Gurl TauX, on the path where we belong. Standing strong through the storm, D&T bringing all of you along.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes.
Good morning. Good morning. How are you? Apparently it just faded to black instead of like switching. There we go.
There you go.
Hey, good morning. Good morning. How are you this morning?
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful.
Well, today is Memorial Day, so I am going to get started because of that. Okay? Give me a sec. Let's see if they can hear me. So Memorial Day is today. And what is Memorial Day? What does it mean? Is it barbecues and beer? Discounts at the store? A day off from work? So many people celebrate Memorial Day, but what we should be doing is honoring, remembering, thanking those who gave the ultimate sacrifice that we can indeed have the stupid sale and a day off from work. Without them, I fear where we would be. This is not Armed Forces Day. They are currently serving. This is not Veterans Day. They served. This is Memorial Day. It's a day to give honor to those who gave their ultimate sacrifice. They died to give us liberty, freedom, and the air that we breathe. I think we need to forget about the sales today. We should do something hard. We should take the time to think about others. We should remember. We should pray to God the thankfulness for those who came before us and gave everything so that we could have some of the stupid little liberties that we have, such as freedom of speech.
Well, the things that everybody takes for granted. There are so many things that people take for granted. It's absolutely crazy what's taken for granted. And, you know, I've seen a lot of things out there where people say, if you can read this, thank a teacher. If you can read this in English, thank a soldier. You know, we have the United States. We have our freedoms. We have all of our amendments to the Constitution that everybody, you know, touts so dearly. But again, without the freedoms, without the freedoms that were earned by those who gave it all, those who gave all are the reason we have the freedoms we have.
Absolutely. You know, if you go and you look at the numbers of people who have died and sacrificed, and if you've ever been to Arlington Cemetery, it's an awe in sight. So speaking of that, should I be wearing this hat? Yes, because it is about the United States of America. Or should I be wearing this hat?
Well, if you ain't ready to be a Marine yet, I guess.
Oh, that's smart ass.
Well, you know.
I'll wear my Army hat. But memorial at the cemeteries. When you go to Arlington's our national cemetery. And many people are buried there from multiple conflicts and wars and whatnot. Depends on what you call it. Vietnam was not a war; it was a conflict.
It was a police action.
It was a police action conflict, whatever. It was a fucking war, and it went on for way too long, and way too many died for no result. You know, the only thing I think we can actually consider we lost. World War I, World War II, D-Day, all the different, you know,
major events,
wars, storming the shores of Normandy. But where did it start? The British-American War, the Civil War.
Civil War was a huge war of independence from Britain. I mean, it started way back. Again, when the founding fathers put pen to paper, all that had to be backed up by defending it. And defense of it comes from those who served to defend it. The fact that they were breaking away from Britain and the British royalty, breaking away from the king and the queen from Britain, that took arms. That wasn't something of
it took sacrifice.
It wasn't just walking away and saying, I'm done with you. It took literal people taking up arms to defend that they felt was the right thing to do.
Well, Old Glory, you know, if you've ever read the story of how our national anthem was written at the bottom of a ship as he was
a prisoner,
imprisoned with other men, and they were fighting at that shore. I don't remember exactly the name of where that's at, but I know the story. And they would climb on top of each other just to look out the window. And every time someone got up there, the other men were just like, is she still there?
Mm-hmm.
And all they were talking about was our flag.
Yeah.
Because it's still standing means we're still free.
Right.
When they take it, we've lost everything.
That's what they consider the one of the ultimate signs of surrender is when you give up your flag. When you give it up or they take it. Right. I mean, it's the whole game behind steal the flag. Yeah.
You know, it's played in games. As soon as your flag is stolen, your team is out. Your team is lost.
Right.
So in honor of, I'm going to play a video real quick. But you know, a little fun, I don't know if it's fun, but a little story from back when I was in the military. For a time I got sent out to Maryland for school, and it was my journalism school while I was in the military. And Memorial Day came, and me and a group of other people there in the school, we decided to do something different on Memorial Day and honor those that have come before us. And we got in our PT gear and we went to Arlington Cemetery, and we started running up and down all the different aisles there. And we did get stopped by soldiers that are stationed there, that work there and take care of things, which are well-known men and women.
Yeah, the Tomb of the Unknown. Yeah.
Well, no, not them. Just the honor.
The garrison.
Yeah, but the garrison. And we got stopped for what we were doing, and they're like, "You can't be here doing PT and running." You know, like this is, and we're like, we're actually doing this as a memorial run for all those that can't run anymore. We're running for them. And the commander, or well, it wasn't the commander, the sergeant said, hold on. I have to go get my commander. You guys stay right here. Very, very stern. He left, and we were afraid to leave because we didn't want to get in trouble. So we all stood there and waited, and he showed back up with his commander and the rest of their men, all in PT gear, and they ran with us. And we completed, and I mean, it was probably one of the longest runs. I don't know how many miles it was. It was miles.
Oh, yeah.
Because we ran up and down and up and down and up and down all these different aisles. And each time we finished one, we would stop and somebody would say something for that group that we just ran for. And then we would do it again. We continued to do that for some time. In fact, people would come in to do it specifically for Memorial Day. It really meant a lot. It was hard. It was one of the hardest runs I've ever done because it seemed like it never stopped. Now you think about it. If you've ever been to Arlington, you've been to Arlington, we've been to Arlington together. That's one. That's our national.
Right.
But that's one. There are cemeteries, veteran cemeteries in every state. There are some that are in every state and their city.
Yeah, some of them are multiple within a state.
Yeah. Some are in the county and then one in the state. Depends on how many they have.
Yeah.
You know, they start a new one once they have, the reason for it. So having people that have sacrificed, I know a few that I have known that have been lost, and that battle also continues after they come home. That is something. Can you fix my camera? Because my camera is out of focus. Or either that or I'm out of focus. Maybe my eyes are out of focus. I don't know. But we continue. Some of those people continue. Now yours is completely out of focus.
Yeah,
But there are also those who are still fighting these battles at home after they come home. And for them, the battle doesn't necessarily stop. And then we have suicides. And I do think that we need to think about those, even though they didn't lose on the battlefield itself, they are lost to the battle. Because when they bring that home and they don't get the help they need, and they don't know that there are people out there that care enough about them. That's why we started Vic's Ranch. And Vic's Ranch is because of my dad. My dad was an Army veteran. He served in Korea in combat. And one day I might tell his story that he finally told me right before he died. But those people who served and came home, my dad, I asked him why he didn't seem to have the issues that so many veterans have. And he said, because I don't shut up. Like, I'm a talker. I got it from my dad. My dad talks to anyone all the time. My dad, and I have done quite a bit since I was a kid. If I think it comes out my pie hole. So I don't hold anything in. I don't sweep anything under the carpet. If I'm irritated with you or pissed off about something, whether it's you or anything else, whatever it is, they're going to know about it. Because I don't pretend. I don't hold it in and wait for the best day to say something. I say what I think. Mm-hmm. And my dad was much that way. So because of that, it makes it where you don't hold it as much. And I have things that bother me. I have things that affect me. I have traumas, but I think I have been able to deal with them a little bit better than other people because I don't shut up. I talk. There are things that I've dealt with that, I didn't until I did. And then it made it much better. But there are many that are struggling with it on a day-to-day basis. And that's why we started Vic's Ranch. Vic's for my dad. But we made it an acronym, of course, because why wouldn't
that's
you?
The military. That's everything's an acronym.
So it stands for Veterans Independent Connected Support Ranch. So the whole point of that is veterans, so that they learn how to be independent, but yet know they're connected and that they always have support. So with that, I'm going to play this video real quick. And we're going to honor our veterans that have passed away, given the ultimate sacrifice, not just the ones who are still around, that are serving, that have served. We're going to honor all of them. Here we go.
If we look to the answer as to why for so many years we achieved so much, prospered as no other people on earth, it was because here in this land we unleashed the energy and individual genius of man to a greater extent than has ever been done before. Freedom and the dignity of the individual have been more available and assured here than in any other place on earth. The price for this freedom at times has been high, but we have never been unwilling to pay that price. Those who say that we're in a time when there are no heroes, they just don't know where to look. The sloping hills of Arlington National Cemetery, with its row upon row of simple white markers bearing crosses or stars of David, they add up to only a tiny fraction of the price that has been paid for our freedom. Each one of those markers is a monument to the kind of hero I spoke of earlier. Their lives ended in places called Belleau Wood, the Argonne, Omaha Beach, Salerno, and halfway around the world on Guadalcanal, Tarawa, Pork Chop Hill, the Chosin Reservoir, and in 100 rice paddies and jungles of a place called Vietnam. Under one such marker, lies a young man, Martin Treptow, who left his job in a small-town barber shop in 1917 to go to France with the famed Rainbow Division. There on the Western Front, he was killed trying to carry a message between battalions under heavy artillery fire. We're told that on his body was found a diary. On the flyleaf, under the heading, My Pledge, he had written these words: America must win this war. Therefore I will work, I will save, I will sacrifice, I will endure. I will fight cheerfully and do my utmost as if the issue of the whole struggle depended on me alone. We must realize that no arsenal or no weapon in the arsenals of the world is so formidable as the will and moral courage of free men and women. It is a weapon our adversaries in today's world do not have. It is a weapon that we as Americans do have. Let that be understood by those who practice terrorism and prey upon their neighbors. As for the enemies of freedom, those who are potential adversaries, they will be reminded that peace is the highest aspiration of the American people. We will negotiate for it, sacrifice for it. We will not surrender for it now or ever. We are Americans.
Wow. If that one doesn't hit you, I don't know what else does.
All right, absolutely.
I got a tear in my eye over that. That's for sure. He is so right, and that's an iconic Memorial Day speech. Now, many presidents have done amazing speeches, but that is one that has always stuck with me. I have a special place in my heart for Ronald Reagan to begin with. Another story for another day, but we can't just, do all the other things, and forget about that. It's okay to have the barbecues.
Mm-hmm.
But I think in the barbecue, maybe say something.
You should take a moment and ensure. And to me, this isn't for grandma and grandpa and mom and dad. It starts with letting the children know what the day is about.
Right.
That message should come from the family and to the children to let them know Memorial Day, yes, it's a day that we have off. It's a day that they have the barbecues.
And go to the lakes.
The reason we do this is in memory and in tribute to those who gave the ultimate sacrifice.
Right.
That's the reason for the day. And in that day, the way we celebrate is by doing these things, to gather as family, to gather as community, to do those events.
Because that's what they
memory
sacrificed
of.
for. They
Yes.
sacrificed themselves so that we could do those
Right.
things.
To have the ability to do those things.
So that we weren't locked up. We aren't speaking some other language. We haven't been conquered. All those things. And today, I think we need to think about that on the level of the amount of places that are being attempted to be taken over by Islam, the places that are trying to be taken over by communism, the places that are trying to be taken over by socialism, such as AOC and Mandani and all these different ones that think that we should be a socialist or communist country. That is not what we are. The United States of America was not founded to be anti-God and anti
Not sure the word you're looking for.
how do you make money? What do businesses do to make money? What's it called? Come on, my brain is not braining. We are not a democracy. We're a republic. but we are not consumer. Come on, capitalism.
A capitalist society.
Yeah, that is what we are. And I can't believe my brain is so not braining for that. But that is how we have been built. That is who we are. That is our core value. I do think a huge part of that is that we can't think there's no God because there have been deaths. There have been deaths and wars fought for whatever the cause is since the dawn of time.
Right.
And there will always be conflicts. There will always be wars upon wars or whatever. But we need to know what our worth is. And we need to understand that if we don't know our worth in this country, of what it's worth fighting for, because if we forget what we're worth, then there's nothing to fight for.
Right.
And if your fight is for everything to be free, just give me stuff. Go to the countries that have socialism where your housing is paid for, your food is paid for. You get a chit and you get this much food, and once you've
you've used it up, that's it. It's gone.
You don't now you're eating out of the trash can.
Mm-hmm.
So we need to realize that those things are very important, and we have to continue that fight. And for some people, it's doing a YouTube channel and having our voices heard and the people heard. For many people, it's the voting. I watched a thing yesterday about Spencer Pratt's raising money, and they're so far behind because they're like, oh, he's raised about $500,000 compared to Karen Bass's, whatever. And I'm like, oh, he's exceeded that. He's at almost like 3 million. Now I think he's over 3 million, and she can't even get $500,000. Usually that's a big sign of who might win. And why is he soaring? It's not because he's a politician. It's not because he's offering to give a bunch of free stuff. Actually, he's saying we're going to add more law enforcement. We're going to enforce the laws that we already have on the books. Why? Because the people need and want to have security. Mm-hmm. They need and want to feel safe. They need and want to feel like the state or the county or the city or the United States that they live in isn't something to be afraid of. And that's what we have to fight for. That's what we have to stand for. That's what we have to defend. I'm too old, I'm too fat, and I'm too out of shape, and I'm too broken to go and join any military or any, group to stand and defend. Now, granted, shit hits the fan, I'll defend, and I'll probably have enough adrenaline to at least defend my home.
Yes,
but I don't have that in me to go and join forces anymore. But I can have a voice.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, and that actually kind of brings us to our motivational quote for the day. Know your fucking worth.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very true. You need to know what your worth is. You need to know that you are worth something and your contribution counts for something. But again, it comes down to if your entire goal is to have everything handed to you, yeah, you still have a worth, but is that a worth that you're proud of? Is that the worth that everybody...
Yeah, exactly.
So it comes down to the United States was born on a premise of all men are created equal, born on a premise of freedom of speech, born on the premise of right to bear arms, born on the premise of the right to peaceful assembly. Now, if those items are something that you abuse, you definitely are not giving tribute to those who came before, who gave you that right. Your abuse of those is definitely not showing good faith of what our forefathers originally had intended, and what the sacrifice has been for. The sacrifice has been to just that, as you stated, constitutionalist. The Constitution is what the forefathers set, and that's what we try to defend.
They tend it to have a baseline of what this country is founded upon, and we can go out from there, but we can't go less than there. I have a question. What is your feelings? What's your thoughts on those that burn the American flag?
I have
two feelings.
I do too. Number one, I do not like to see that happen. However, it has been discussed that is a right people have been given by those who defend the flag. But I think most people who wear the flag on their shoulder because they're a service member, they take great criticism to that thought that, you have the right to burn it. Now, again, people have rights. They have the ability to peaceful protest, and if that's their peaceful protest, I understand that.
Well, and what are your thoughts today on the peaceful protesting? Because like Don Lemon claims with his other counterparts that was a peaceful protest. Even though there's laws on the books that you can't go into a religious establishment and
disrupt.
disrupt.
Right. So
they say all the time. Sorry, hold on. They say all the time they were peacefully protesting, and in fact, I think I heard it was either Don Lemon or somebody else saying, "Where does it say that they have to be peaceful?"
In the Constitution,
in the actual amendment.
In the amendment,
it
says the right to peaceful protest. So, no, the entering of a church with intent to disrupt is not peaceful. I mean, again, the intent to disrupt.
And they made that law during the civil rights movement because they were going and burning crosses at churches, and they were attacking them in their church. And of course, there's the biggest well-known church that burned down with all the people in it during the civil rights movement. And that gave pause to ensuring that they had the freedom to assemble at church and worship, and that they could not have that right be infringed upon by others. Had he stayed outside, and just reported on it and not gone inside, he would not have been charged with anything.
Right. And the entering of a church with intent to again, a church is generally open doors, welcome to all the public, until the point of when you come in there and you actually are intent on doing damage and destruction. You're no longer welcome at that point. That is no longer a welcome event within the church. You need to be making sure that people are given the opportunity to assemble and not be disrupted, not have somebody else come in there, because again, the right of religious freedoms is something else that the country was founded upon. So going into a church like that, you are no longer allowing them their rights to practice as they wish.
Well, and on that same line, excuse me, gosh. On that same line, there are many videos out there from the protests in Portland and other parts of the country where they were literally reporters saying they're peacefully protesting with a fire behind them, and police cars on fire, and businesses looted and smashed and broken and all those things. And then you hear constantly Jan 6, and you can't, there's not even the same videos. Yes, some crap happened on Jan 6, but they equate that, and they have been touted saying it was the worst day in American history. And I'm like, really? The worst day? I mean, and when right now they're claiming that we're going back to Jim Crow, and somebody I watched just the other day said, this is Jim Crow, and this is what they're calling Jim Crow. This is Jim Crow, and this is what they're calling Jim Crow. And they're completely two different things. So when it comes to standing up for our freedom and those who go to war and those who go to battle, we have a son in Kuwait right now.
Actually, I just got a message from him this morning. He's in Jordan.
He's in Jordan.
Kind of starting to migrate back towards the U.S. So hopefully
towards
soon.
Freedom.
Hopefully soon.
And we've been on pins and needles since he's been gone, because he was there before, and then they did an evacuation of 90% of his unit, and then there were certain ones that were kept there behind, and he was one of them. He chose to stay because he is a leader. He's a staff sergeant, so he chose to stay because he knew they needed him. And we were very proud of him for choosing that, but it didn't mean that we weren't fearful.
Right.
They were under attack several times. Luckily, as far as we know, there was no loss of life where he directly was. There were maybe some injuries and stuff, but so when you think about that, it definitely makes you pause. Mm-hmm. And I think that's something that we should think about, is pausing today to think about those who have gone and done the actual fighting and sacrificing and loss, that we have the right to do the protesting, that we have the right to assemble, that we have the right to go to the store and get a discount because it's Memorial Day, to go to the parks and ride the roller coasters, to go to the mountains and climb them, to go to a ski resort and ski them, to go to your church and worship, to go to school and learn. Not lear, but learn. Mm-hmm. It's because of them that we have the right to do all those things. That we can go to work and get a paycheck and pay our bills and buy a house and own land and own property. It's because of them that we can do those things. Because without them, I fear where we would be. Because if we had lost any of the battles that we have fought so hard for, where would we be today?
Right.
And if we don't continue that fight, where will we be tomorrow?
Yeah.
And that's something that we have to think about. Now, I want to just specifically read this part. I asked Grok. Grok has become my my compadre. He has become my little working companion here. So I asked Grok specifically about what that says for the flag. And I just want to read it because I want to clarify a couple of things that we have been over time a little bit misinformed.
Yeah.
Okay, so give me 1 second. And we need to put a mic right here. We have a spare one. We need to just put one over here because I kind of lose my microphone as I get closer. Hopefully you can read it.
I should have you on a lapel mic.
I don't need to be on a lapel mic, no. So I asked, do you have the right to burn the American flag in the actual Constitution? So that was my question. And hold on 1 second. I got to see. Okay. See, this is part of the problem. I got to put glasses on to see. That was the whole point of why we got this, so that I could read things when I need to. And I can't read some of that. I'm trying to see how fast it goes because this is somewhere here it says speed, but I don't see where the speed is. Okay, I'll just
Thought I was
pause.
way up there on top. Thought that was speed right there.
Oh no, that's brightness. Okay, I'll just start it and pause it when I need to. So I asked, do we have the right to burn the American flag in the actual Constitution, or has it been misconstrued and used as a protest without any actual basis behind this right? And Grok's response was no. The right to burn the American flag is not explicitly stated in the U.S. Constitution. It is a judicial interpretation of the First Amendment free speech protections established by Supreme Court rulings rather than the text itself. What the Constitution actually says, the First Amendment reads, Congress shall make no laws respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercises thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech or of the press or the right of the people to peacefully assemble and to petition the government for a redress of grievances. So what I read in that is that we have the right to peacefully protest. And I think if we're going to burn the flag, you should do that in a peaceful manner. And I think you should even do that in a respectful manner without a big fight on top of it. That's my interpretation. I could be wrong, but that's my interpretation. I'm going to continue reading real quick. There is no mention of flags, burning, desecration, or symbols anywhere in the Constitution or its amendment. The framers did not address these issues directly. How it became protected, the Supreme Court has ruled that flag burning qualifies as symbolic speech or expressive conduct protected under the First Amendment. Key cases, Texas versus Johnson, 1989. Gregory Lee Johnson burned a flag during a protest at the 1984 Republican National Convention. Texas convicted him under a flag desecration law. In a 5-4 decision, the court overturned this, holding that the act was political expression. The government cannot ban it simply because it offends people or disrespects the flag as a national symbol. United States, okay, so also when we think about it is we have had many people who talk about offending. That offends me. It hurts my feelings. That bothers me. You got to stop saying those things. You're not allowed to say those things, such as the N-word, such as this thing, such as that thing. Our whole point is that we have the right to say what we think and what we feel. What we don't have the right to do is incite violence or call for violence or threaten someone or do something they've always said, like, yell fire in a crowded theater, because that could harm people, because
Right.
everybody could try to get out and trample over each other and harm each other. So you can't do those things. But what we're seeing today, I think, is taking that a little farther out from what it was intended.
Right. I mean, again, the amendment is talking about peaceful protest. You know, again, if you are inciting violence, if you are encouraging people to be destructive,
Such as the ones that were in Minnesota that was trying to ram the guy with the truck. The other guy who was going after them with a weapon, whether he had it out or not, he had a weapon on him, and he was attacking the ICE agents. That is not peacefully protesting.
no, peaceful protest is you're standing on the corner with your sign saying, I disagree with this, that, the other thing. Sure, you can, wave and speak out and stuff like that. But when you start standing on the corner there, and as people are going by, you are throwing things at the cars because they're ignoring you, you're no longer peaceful. If you are throwing things, you're doing it with intent. So you need to sit there and look at what is peaceful and what is not peaceful. Again, a group gathered together to go and protest and say they don't like something. As long as they're not inciting violence, they're not calling for some sort of violence to occur, I would say that they're peacefully protesting. If I were on, in the jury box and they asked me if it was actual, violence, I would look at that as just as a layperson, as my interpretation of, is it inciting violence? Is it peaceful? Is it not?
Right. I agree. We have to think about it from those different perspectives, as well as what the Supreme Court has ruled based on its evaluation of it. They didn't have a founding father to actually ask and say, hey, was this what your intentions were? So again, we talked about the Gregory Lee one, but there was also another court holding that actually held this up again. And this has happened several times. But simply offending someone or disrespecting what you might think. And at the same time, there have been people who have said issues such as wearing the American flag is actually desecration. I think if you wear it in an honorable way, I do honestly think that having a pair of American flag underwear is, in my opinion, is kind of that to me goes a little bit beyond. Again, you have the United States versus Eichmann, 1990. The court struck down the Federal Flag Protection Act passed in response to Johnson. By the same 5-4 margin, it ruled that the law still targeted expression based on its message. The core reasoning from Justice Brennan in Johnson: if there is a bedrock principle underlying the First Amendment, it is that the government may not prohibit the expression of an idea simply because society finds the idea itself offensive or disagreeable. It is misconstrued. And I think that is something we have to stand for today as well. All these things that they're arguing about. So it's not really misconception. It's a standard application of First Amendment doctrine to express expressive conduct, similar to wearing an armband, art, or other symbolic acts. The court has long held this speech includes more than just words. Critics, including the dissenters in these cases, like Chief Justice Rehnquist, argued that the flag is a unique national symbol deserving special protection and that the ruling stretched the First Amendment too far. Many Americans and politicians have pushed for a constitutional amendment to ban flag desecration. It has passed the House multiple times but failed in the Senate. The protection is not unlimited. It wouldn't cover burning a flag in a way that directly incites imminent violence, fighting words, creates a true public safety hazard unrelated to the message, or violates content neutral rules, e.g. fire safety ordinances in certain contexts. In short, the right exists because the Supreme Court has interpreted the First Amendment this way for decades. It's not written in the Constitution, but flows from its free speech clause. This is a classic example of how constitutional rights evolve through judicial review. The ruling remains controversial, with ongoing political debate and occasional attempts to overturn or limit it. I think that also goes on the same basis as to what they just ruled in the Supreme Court on the voting lines. Because you can't have voting or pockets of anyone based on race. And that's not meaning we're going back to Jim Crow, people. No blacks have lost the right to vote. You can vote for anyone you want, but what you can't do is have specific locations that are just race-based. And for that, I think that is another one of those things. Now, if there was a way to say that we could not burn the American flag, because yes, it has been a debate for a long time. I sort of agree with that. I don't like anyone desecrating the flag. There are other ways to stand for it. And I think that honestly, this might be controversial. I think that the only people that should have the right to do that would be actual American citizens. I think if you are not from this country, it should be a chargeable offense of desecrating our flag.
I get that.
Because it's not your flag to burn. Burn your own flag. That's my feelings on it. So this was a quick show because we got 8 minutes left, 8 minutes left to round this up. Technically we have 3 minutes left as according to the hour marker, but we are going to go to 10 o'clock. I started our music on time beforehand, so that puts us a little bit over. So we have a couple more minutes. On that basis, going back to Memorial Day, what do you feel that our founding fathers, those who fought in the British-American War, those who fought in the Civil War, and beyond, what do you think they would think of what is happening today in the national conflicts, the teen takeovers, the violent acts that have been happening, the Islamic takeovers? What do you think the people that died in 9/11 would think?
I think their view would be very much disappointment. I don't think that they would agree with a lot of what is happening today. Teen takeovers are one of those items. I mean, the mayor of Chicago says, they arrested him, they were out the next day doing it again, so therefore the laws don't work. Well, that has nothing to do with that aspect. And
you can't let them out the next day. They're getting arrested, but they're not being charged. They're getting arrested, but they're not being charged and sentenced. Their parents are not being held accountable. I think some of the parents need to be held accountable because they're minors. They're under your charge. You should be responsible for their actions. As soon as parents Now, granted, a lot of the people that might be involved in that, I have no idea. Maybe they don't even have parents. Maybe they're running the streets and running amok, whatever. Maybe they're part of gangs. Who knows? But it's not just in Chicago. That's one occurrence.
Right. It's all over.
It's all over the place. And what I think that our founding fathers and those who have given the ultimate sacrifice, which is what this day is about, I think they would be crying. I think they would be crying out for us to realize what they gave their lives for. There was a video of I'm pretty sure he was a Marine, like 101 years old or something like that. And he was asked about the protests and the things that were going on today. And he talked about the fact that he had, and I could be wrong, he may have not been a Marine. He might have been a survivor of Pearl Harbor. And so I might have the person confused. But he was crying, and he was asked what the tears were for. And he said, watching what's happening today, I wonder what it was all for.
Right. I mean, that's I think that is a thought that a lot of those who gave the ultimate sacrifice would ask. What did I do that for after what the country has allowed, what the country is.
Well, and I think another thing, there are people that we can ask how they feel about it that have to do with those sacrifices. The Gold Star families.
Yeah, the families of those who have fallen, and ask them.
Because there are many that are still alive today.
Absolutely. And it's like, okay, in your opinion, was it worth it? I mean, and I'm sure a lot of them would say no.
Yeah.
Because it has really come to the point of people do not respect the sacrifices that were made. They just have this mindset, and a lot of it comes from the media that is out there touting,
right,
you are abused, you're a victim, you have rights that they're not allowing you to have.
Well,
so they go out there and they try to express what they think are their rights based off of what they've been told.
Well, and another part of it, and this hit me myself, is during COVID, and when all that stuff happened. One, the media misconstrued things and lied, and the propaganda and all that stuff. But it made me have second thoughts about what defending this country means if they can simply say, for your safety, you need to wear a mask, and you need to stay inside, and you can't leave, and you can't go to work. And if you don't get this jab, you're going to lose your job. I didn't take it because I work for myself. You had to take it. You were forced to take it. Our son was forced to take it to stay in the military. Many of our kids were forced to take it to stay in their jobs or whatever it is. And there are quite a few people who stood up to it and said, I'm not going to do it. And they've gotten jobs back or compensation or whatever now. But I think there are many fallen who have sacrificed for this nation who would have saw that and said, no, that is not what we fought for. We fought for your right to say, I'm not going to wear the mask. It does nothing. I mean, let's look at the reality of it.
Right. I mean, it's, again, if you have medical training,
if you can smell the fart, it's not doing anything.
You're not protecting yourself. There's so many so many pieces of that one that is, you know, not
huge
that's not-
area of contention.
That's not a story. That's a saga. I mean, it really is. But, you know, circling it back to Memorial Day itself, again, we have to remember those who gave the ultimate sacrifice. That is the reason that we have this day dedicated to those individuals. We don't have a day dedicated to parties and a day dedicated to hamburgers and a day dedicated to sales.
Oh, there probably is.
We have a
but
day.
not today.
Well, today is not dedicated to those things. Today is dedicated to those who gave the ultimate sacrifice. So at some point in time during the day today, please take
a
pause
moment
and think and remember and honor those who have fallen to allow you to have the privileges
If you're
that
out
you
and
have
about,
today.
if you're out and about and you drive by a veterans cemetery, stop for a moment.
There are 171 veteran cemeteries across the United States.
So if you drive by one, pause, stop, and say a prayer. Take the time if you want. Park. Walk in there. Take a look. Remember. Think about it. Put yourself in their shoes, their Gold Star family's shoes. Think about the sacrifices that have been made for your right to speak. If we were not a free nation, we couldn't have this discussion alone. Stop and remember, and maybe close your eyes, have a moment of silence, pour out a beer, say something, speak something. Don't thank a veteran. Thank the families of
Right.
those who have lost their lives. And maybe go find something that is hard. And I don't mean like, don't eat the cake today. I mean, go do something physically demanding that can remind you that why your muscles hurt is because you can feel them because you're alive and they are not. With
Right.
that, I hate saying the words like Happy Memorial Day or go celebrate. But I mean, go and honor
Honor and remember.
and remember those who allowed this day to happen for you. And if you're doing that through celebrating, as long as you keep them in your mind and you at some point with your family and your friends at your barbecue or whatever, say, everybody, let's hold up a beer
Right.
and say a couple words about those who made this happen for you. And with that, thank you so much. Have a great rest of your week. And don't forget to thank a lost soldier, sailor, Marine, Air Force, anyone who has served this nation and has sacrificed themselves for your freedom. Thank you. Have a great day.